Hello and good morning, my beautiful people. I am talking to you on Saturday, and it's Easter Saturday. Tomorrow, on Sunday, we celebrate, in Christianity, we celebrate resurrection. And I have been hearing a lot about Jesus from different spiritual people and mediums and healers and just spiritual people. Well, it was a few that I'm listening to. So one is Lori Ladd, and the other lady, her name just escaped my memory, and they've been talking about Jesus. I think that's important that both ladies are around their 50s, and the journey to Jesus can be long, and especially for this generation who was brought up very religiously in the 70s and 80s, when the religion was really deep. It was still deep. I'm talking about Catholic religion now. I'm talking about Christianity. And I don't know how many of you can relate to that, but I was just wanting to talk about, about Jesus, and about the impact or effect it has got, and just what it means for me. I just wanted to quickly unpack it, or just to unpack it. So because of the days that we are now, and yesterday I really felt a call to light up a candle. Yesterday we celebrated, or we remembered, or we were contemplating crucifixion, and this is very obviously metaphoric. So Jesus gave his life for the sins of humanity. That's what's remembered. And I think I felt like it was quite meditative day. It was a day about thinking about how I show up in life, and what do I give, what do I take, what can I sacrifice, and how my life is with pain and with limitation and with giving myself away. So it was kind of quiet sort of day for me, and I was trying to think about the sacrifices that I give. I know, for example, some people in this period, they don't eat sweets, or they don't drink alcohol, just to give something. And I think it's very intuition led. It's as if as a sign, or as we want to give something or do something that requires some sort of pain, because withdrawing from doing certain things that gave us a quick pleasure can bring us pain, but in the longer run we do feel better with this. So that's the sorry, excuse me, I don't know why I have this little cough. So there is something, maybe it's about the hardness with which the words come in. I thought I wanted to talk about this. I thought I wanted to talk about Jesus, and how do I feel about this, because that's what I've heard a few people talking about, and I felt a strong faith, and I understand that the Jesus they were talking about is not the Jesus that also I know from the religion, from my personal Catholic upbringing. It's a figure who is more to do with the spirituality, how we understand it now. So the spirituality, the religious spirituality, the faith in God as it was presented by Christian church, was, and I was talking about this before, was very much to do with guilt, with shame, with making people small and not important in the face of God. The spirituality put more emphasis on love, although the religion also, but it was love very much to do with the sacrifice, very much to do with suffering, and obviously the suffering wanted to be explained through the love. Now in the spirituality, let's say it's a modern one, or whatever they call it, it's more to do with love, and then the emphasis is not put that much on suffering, but it's more on the healing. So the ways that we can heal ourselves, the ways that we understand our spiritual side, our soul, also how we understand our trauma, our karma, and everything, to help us explain why are we suffering, what is the reason that we feel pain, from this perspective that is wider, that helps us be more in the center and understand ourselves more, without thinking that we are worthless, that our body is worthless, that we are just nothing but dust in the face of God. And to me, it brings God back to us, to our body, without guilt and shame, and without the sin that was the immortal sin that we are templed with, or we are stamped with when we are born. And that's what the religion is telling us. So when you are brought up and you are told that you were born with the immortal sin that was washed away by baptism, that's fine, but this immortal sin was brought up many times, and it kind of takes some time to then take it away from you, to say that you are holy. And even now, when I say that I am holy, it kind of brings out the shame, and brings out an unworthiness, saying, how come I am holy? I am not worthy. I am not all of that. Like, how can I say things that I am holy? It's God, it's the holy people, saints, that are holy. I am not. But what I have been doing, and what I have been reading and listening and contemplating and meditating upon, is that we are all holy. Every one of us is holy, because we are all part of God. And this is what's strong, and this is what's important. And this is what also Jesus is about, because he's one of us, but he is also very strongly part of God. And I really like what the lady, I will tag her, or I will mention her in the description, how she was explaining how the Bible was written many, obviously thousands years ago, by some men who were writing about this happenings and the life of Jesus and beforehand, in the way that they could understand it, and they remembered it. And obviously it was written by men in a very specific language, and now it needs to be rephrased, because first of all, the earth and the world and the people are on a different level of spiritual vibrations that they were back then, and we are vibrating higher also on every level, and obviously historically and developmentally, and how the world is now, even though obviously all the things that happening, like wars and other suffering, is very much still happening, but because of also technological advances and everything else, and how people were, and with time it's everything is expanding, so that's natural that it was expanding. Although when I think about it, we are the earth like that. So after the Christ was born and then crucified and then resurrected, it's only 2000 years ago, and Earth was before then for many years. And sometimes I think it's a bit egoistical of us to think, oh, we are so special, we are one of a kind, how we are now, we've never been before. I'm not 100% sure about this, because we know about other civilization who are very evolved, and it's kind of hard to say if they were more or less evolved than us. We've heard, I don't know if you've heard about Atlantis, another civilization who are really advanced, and the technological advances they have, we don't know. And then there is another layer of how they were helped from the above, so by extraterrestrial beings. So all of this is really interesting, but I think still is a bit egoistical to think, oh, we are now on the involvement of the humanity that's never been before. Although I really want to believe that, and it's kind of also natural that to think, oh, we are one of a kind, has never been like this, and nothing like that happened before. But definitely the belief of Jesus is still alive, so that's and Jesus is just present, and it's because it's happening like this. So because people are strongly believe in Jesus in a different form than it was many years ago, even 60 years ago, I believe that it's a very strong and figure that definitely exists not only in people's heart, but as a remembering, and as a metaphor, and as a presence, as a spiritual presence who is very close to humanity, and who is there to protect us, and who is here to remind us of the human the modalities that make the humanity and give meaning to what it means to be a human. So the very bodily part, which is suffering, pain, dying, and then the spiritual part, which is resurrection, which is healing, which is getting started anew, and also interacting with humans. But it's showing very much that the life is always winning, that the life is always there. But when life and when resurrection happens, it happens after painful moments, it happens after death, it happens after sacrifice, and after suffering. And this is, I think, this is a beautiful metaphor to all of us, what everyone is going through very often. And it could be small sacrifices, big deaths, big ego deaths, deaths of everything that we believed on, deaths of love, deaths of relationships, and the pain and the suffering that comes with that. So then later we can resurrect, and we can build anew. And this what happens throughout our lives, and I guess is unavoidable, although obviously we would like this to happen as little as possible, because it's very painful, and the pain, the bodily pain, is something that really impacts us, obviously, because we have bodies. And the same happened with Jesus. And I remember from reading a Bible that Jesus was saying to his Father, please, not in the words like this, but he was saying, please, don't let me go through this, please, can I not go through this? He knew that he was going to go through this sacrifice, and he was really scared. So the human aspect of Jesus is so strong, and it was shown to us that he was scared as well, even though he knew who was going to betray him from his friends, from his circle of disciples, and but he obviously he still went through this. That was his sacrifice. How he understood it, that it was a sacrifice for all humans, for their sins. I don't know if I resonated back then of the fact that humans are doing so much sin, are in sin, so they doing bad things, they are committing crimes, they having bad intentions, and you know, there's lack of love and things like this, and then Jesus sacrificed his life to kind of make sure that it's acknowledged. Almost is a very hard thing to grasp, but also intuitively, you know, that's a beautiful thing, and it actually happens all the time as well. And it's in the physical term that you just take pain from other people, and you live through the pain yourself, but also through obviously helping and making yourself uncomfortable, and making yourself going through pain because you want less of this pain for other people. But I think to kind of get away from pain and get away from suffering, I know lots of people do things like gathering and sending out light and sending out love, because people also are like antennas, and we can vibrate in a positive light. And I know I have to remind myself to do that, because very often when I see, for example, a homeless person or a very poor person on the street, I flinch, I close myself up, and I don't let any energy go in and out. I kind of remove myself from this place, which I guess is also to protect myself. And if I sit down in my home, or I sit down in nature and then try to emanate and send good energy out, it works as well. So I really would like to say, yes, do the same. So do try and send good energy out, and it's gonna help all of us. It's gonna help humanity. It's gonna help other people close and far away from you. And the more of us that is aware, and the more of us that sends this good energy out, that sends the light out, the more of us who sees with their third eye and sees with their two eyes, because they are also important, as well as other senses. They just feel, you just feel, and you just sense, and you just believe, and you have faith, and you send the light, and this what will help humanity. And I understand that depending on the situation you are in, the light sometimes need to be sent inside of yourself, but the light that you send out comes back to you as well, because first you have to have it in you, and then it spreads out. I'm just trying to remember one of the meditation that I had, that I read in the book, that I always or used to more say about the light coming in and out from me, and strengthening, and just repeating this over and over to yourself during the meditation. The light coming through me and extends around me and emanates on everyone else. the light and the love that goes through me emanates on everyone else. And this is kind of a mantra, a good mantra as well for this Easter, and remembering Jesus, whatever it means for you. I don't really listen that much to like really young people, maybe people in their 20s, people in their 30s. Aaron Doughty is I think the youngest person, because I really like to have a breath of all the people, and I can see the paths they are on is different. So I really encourage you to listen to people from different generations, just to see how the perspective might change, and take for you whatever you like from each generation. And each generation, even if you are older or if you are younger, is very helpful, because they are in different part in your life, in their life, sorry, and it can resonate differently to the parts of life that you are in. So the love and the understanding of love is very similar. The understanding of Jesus and knowledge of the Jesus might be very different. I don't think Aaron ever spoken of Jesus. It's just a different generation, and the generation of people in their 20s, 30s, they probably were not brought up as much in Christianity back 20 years ago. Even my daughter, they weren't brought up with the Bible. They were not brought up with Jesus, although I know the Bible comes back and a lot of people read it. So it would be really interesting to see how they understand it, what's their feelings, and what's their perception of Jesus. And Jesus is like any other prophet, not like any other prophet, is a prophet. And obviously we have many. We have Buddha, and we have other Muhammad, and all those, and I don't know that much about those ones. And obviously if you are from this faith, you would know more. And I don't know about their sacrifice. I know that they were sacrificed. One of them is giving away all the possessions, and living as a person who does not have anything, who sort of relies on other people to provide for them. None of these prophets sort of work like a 9-to-5 job, and then in the evening I go and I spread my message. That was their work. They would go and they would heal, and they would spread light, and they would explain, and they would have the crowd around them who would follow them, and that's what it meant. Or they were sitting in by themselves in meditation, and kind of they didn't need much, right? They didn't need 5 pairs of shoes or 3 coats, and have different dinner every day. They probably just fed on whatever there was, potatoes and rice or whatever there was. So the sort of bodily needs were not so extensive, although the need for community, the need for love, the need for, human touch, the need for connection, that was the main need for them, because the main part of them being there was that there were people who were observing them, who would take the knowledge, and who would take the teachings and input it into their own lives, and kind of thought about this. So the last thing I wanted to say is just quickly that because I want to remember it myself, is that I had this Marma healing, or Marma. It's not a massage, it's just a type of lightly touch with this lady. And the last time I had it, she just did it with my face, so it's just lightly touching points on the face. And what came up then was anger. Lots of anger. I had to sort of digest it, and I had to heal it, and I had to sit with this, and then I felt really wonderful. The last time I was with this lady, and she was practicing the marma on other points, so on hands and or on feet and on the face. And I was lying down as always, and she started with the face. I didn't feel much, but then she was moving around and to my feet, and I really felt the love. So I really want to remember this feeling of love, feeling of being loved. And I think that time the love really came from, I was in the house that had lots of dogs, and there's particular one dog, but the other one really loving, and I felt that they were loving me, obviously people around as well, but just the love that came in. And I think the resurrection that is happening tomorrow or on Easter Sunday, that's the point to take, is the love. And I will exercise and try to have and give as much love as I can. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. No buts, no nothing, but I will give as much love as I can, physically can and spiritually can, and I'm sending this love to you, and I'm sending the light to you, light to you. I'm sending the light to you, and I wish you happy holidays if you are celebrating. If you are not celebrating, still sending you love and light, and please pass it on to anyone else in your life when you're listening to it. Thank you very much, and I speak to you soon. Bye bye.